Hi, here's a short introduction to the readings for Thursday, October 19th. On Thursday, we'll be discussing the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy's entry on environmental justice. This is a challenging and incredibly interesting reading, and like the readings on capitalism and the readings from Tuesday that focused on philosophical orientations, this reading might challenge some of our most basic ideas about freedom and fairness in our country. It's a rather long reading. What I'd like you to do is focus on four sections. The section on definitions, number one, the third section on environmental racism and environmental justice, the fourth section on principles of environmental justice, and the fifth section on causes of environmental justice. Here are some questions that you might consider as you read this entry in the Encyclopedia of Philosophy. The first question to think about is, what do you think about the US EPA's definition of environmental justice in Section 1? Is it a good definition? Is it a comprehensive definition? Does it miss things that you think ought to be in there? How is environmental justice different from the concept of environmentalism or from the environmental movement? Are they embedded in each other? Is one part of another? Or are they distinct? Do they have some overlaps? What do you think about that? Here's another question. What is the role of fairness in environmental justice? That is, in cases of environmental injustice, to what extent are the injustices arbitrary or are they systematic? Can you give us an example of any systematic injustices that might exist? By systematic injustices, I mean that somebody doesn't make a in the moment decision to do something in an unjust fashion, but there are larger structural issues going on in our world that privilege some people towards healthier environments and what's the opposite of privilege? Discriminate against some people and give them more challenging situations to live in. When you read the fourth section about principles of environmental justice, you notice it's a long list. There's 17 of them. You don't need to know and understand and completely absorb each of these 17 principles, but do read them and be aware of them and consider them. Maybe even think about what you think are the most important 2 or 3 or 4 principles. And finally, what are some of the causes of environmental injustice or environmental justice? Once we understand the causes, it's possible that we can work on the solutions. But until we understand these causes, it's going to be difficult to do that. So those are the things I'd like you to consider for Thursday. If you have time and inclination, you can read a kind of a counterpoint article called "Be Fruitful and Multiply." We'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Bye.